Good evening. My name is Eugene Peterson. I'm the chair of the.
Recording in progress.
Good evening. I'm Eugene Peterson. I'm the chair of the Anne Arundel County Human Relations Commission. We are starting the meeting at 6:01 p.m. And we are a commission that is that is part of the Anne Arundel County charter. That was done through a vote of the citizens in the 2020 election. Previously, we were appointed by the county executive, but we are now enshrined in the county charter. And we are also, as a Human Relations Commission, given the specific responsibility by legislative action of the county council to investigate alleged housing discrimination issues. In order to do that, we have on our webpage a form that folks can fill out in either English or Spanish, I believe. And then we will respond to the alleged discrimination complaint and get back to the complainant. And we have powers that would allow us, if the alleged complaint were accepted, to have hearings, issue actions, and take action, including fines if necessary. We have a larger responsibility in our charter to help, as the county council and the county executive have adopted the slogan, and it's more than a slogan, it's a belief that we have to make Anne Arundel County the best place for all. And that, I think, makes us a commission that's very interested in looking at larger issues of hate, of violence, of hate crimes, of issues that tend to divide us rather than unite us. And we work closely with county agencies in that regard, especially the Anne Arundel County Department of Police, which gets reports on hate bias incidents both in the community and in the public school system. Having said all of that, I'd like at this point in time to, and I was hoping our secretary would be on. She's not on yet. So I will
Hi,
begin.
good evening, Eugene. Lakeisha's
Oh, there
here.
you are. Okay. Good to see you. I didn't see you at the, whatchamacallit. Why don't you
Yes, no worries.
go ahead and take the roll.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We will go ahead and initiate our roll call. We have Councilman Clapsaddle.
Here.
Please say present or here when you hear your name, please.
Jersey
Count-
Saddle here.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dedoni.
Here.
Councilwoman Gaskin.
Present.
Councilwoman Carpetwitz.
Carpowitz, yes.
Carpetwitz,
Yeah.
sorry.
Hi, no problem. It's a hard one.
I'm gonna get it right.
No worries.
Councilman Agbola.
Present.
We also have, I don't know who is, maybe it's Ethan 22. Is that?
That's the IT department.
Okay, sorry, IT, it does say IT. And then is Aisha here? I don't see her.
No, she is away at a conference, and Chanel is here in her
Thank you,
in her
Chanel,
stead.
for. Oh, and then we have Councilman Peterson also.
Commissioner Peterson. You promoted me to councilman. That's okay.
Sorry, Commissioner. Chairman Peterson.
All
is
right,
present.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and it looks like we have a full commission for voting purposes. Is that right, Secretary Hatcher?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you so much for taking the role and being here and doing the minutes. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll move to approval. I sent out, and because our wonderful secretary had a bout of COVID, she was not able to make our August 3rd meeting, and that's very understandable. So I pieced together the minutes as best I could. I asked Secretary Hatcher to look at them and to continue to look at the recording that we have. And I guess I would start before we approve the minutes by asking Secretary Hatcher, have you looked at that in my minutes, and is there a need for major corrections?
Chairman Peterson, I did, and I did not see a need for corrections.
Okay, great. Having gotten the okay from our secretary, I would ask for us to have a vote to approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that the minutes be approved.
Okay.
May moves to approve, Commissioner Gaskin moves to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Commissioner Dodoni seconds the motion to approve.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. We'll now move to our first agenda item, discussion for October 2022 Unity Tree Lighting Ceremony at Downs Park, Pasadena, Maryland. I had quite a journey to Downs Park. I got there a little late. My committee will talk about that, I'm sure, but I did get a chance to meet the superintendent. I did see the site, and I would like to take over the reporting of what this event will be to the committee. I think it's Commissioner Dodoni, Commissioner Gaskin, myself, and Vice Chair Clapsaddle. I guess Vice Chair Clapsaddle, I understand you were taking notes, so you should probably start out.
Thank you very much, Chairman Peterson. First of all, I would say this is an absolutely beautiful setting for a Unity Day. And we owe our thanks to the Superintendent of Parks and the Chief Park Operations gentleman who hosted us, the Park Superintendent Nolly Fisher, and Bill Offit, who is the Chief of Parks Operations. Commissioner Gaskin and Commissioner Dodoni were both with me. I have some things that I'm going to go through, and then I would like to turn it over to my other two associates to kind of fill in the blanks. This is not an easy undertaking for us, and it will have tremendous impact in terms of the commission itself and what we're doing. It's a co-hosting between the Human Relations Commission and Chesapeake High School, is my understanding. And we selected a beautiful tree. The tree itself, and I'm going to defer to Commissioner Dodoni and Commissioner Gaskin, but I believe that because of the time of day we're doing, we should use only white lights. And it's a large tree, and so Ms. Clemens, if you'll make a note that we're going to have to request some operational assistance from the county in putting the lights up.
Yes, we'll do.
The stage and decor. The stage, I think, should be set up with a lectern and a sound system. And that's for our guests and our speakers, and chairs for all the commissioners to sit behind and any of our special guests. We have not dealt with the food yet, but it should be light fare. And if any of you have any ideas about how we go about that, I'm more than happy to help. I'm going to ask Dr. Gillens if she could kindly ask the high school music department to provide us some kind of musical entertainment and cheerleading. Going back to the food, there's a lovely place right at the beginning of the stage before the steps where we could have it set out, because it's all a grassy area, so there's not going to be any chairs on the lawn. It'll be very informal. We are working on getting a special guest. We do not have that confirmed yet. I know that Commissioner Gaskin was working on one person. I have been working on 3. I don't have a definite commitment from any of them yet. And it's kind of late, but we're going to do our best. We need to elect on behalf of the commission an MC for the evening, someone, and that probably will be you, Chair Peterson. Someone who will lead the
I accept.
program. Lastly, I want to go through. So what we need to do there is we have electricity. We're going to have a sound system. We've got lights on the stage, and we'll have lights, we'll have electrical hookups for the tree. There is a question of security, which I'll let Mary talk about. And also, I think security is, one of the things, the decor for the stage, we're thinking about banners. Maybe a banner of Anne Arundel County, maybe a banner of the school district if they have one, and a banner of Chesapeake High School. Commissioner Gaskin, I also thought after our meeting that we probably should include as a guest speaker to make some kind of comment, the president of the student council or the president of the senior class or something from Chesapeake High School. I don't know whether we need to do that or not, but that's what I would suggest. And that is the end of my report. Faye?
Why don't we turn it over to Commissioner Gaskin?
Yeah, I think you pretty much cover everything. And Mary's going to talk about why we may need some security. One thing that we also talked about, initially we had thought about having the tree lit through the end of October, but the superintendent reminded us that the park closes at dusk. So nobody will be able to get in to see it anyway. And so it probably just would be just lighting them for that particular day only. And also, as Vice Chair Clapsaddle said, there are not any lights other than the lights that are by the stage itself. And so that would be a concern because we would have to get out of there. I know we had talked about a certain time, maybe from 4 to 7, but they checked when the sun will go down on October 20th. It was like around 6:02 p.m. So we would have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, I think we said, we're saying in the letters that go out to participants, to supporters, and to other invited folks, 4 to 6 is what I saw in the letters.
Okay. And then we had initially discussed 4 to 7. Okay, that makes sense.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes.
There are absolutely no lights in the parking lots or anything. So if we're going to go to 6, we're going to need to have people there with flashlights or something helping people get in and out of the parking areas. But I'm going to let Mary talk about that because I've been doing all the talking. Commissioner Dodoni, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, everyone. Being my usual ray of sunshine, I chose to highlight 2 aspects of this gathering that may present some challenge. The first, of course, is I'm going to call it transportation, by which we really mean parking, and not just where do you place your vehicles, but how do you get from your vehicles to the venue, which is the amphitheater, and then back from the amphitheater to your vehicles. I also want to talk about security. I will let you know that my approach to this has been informed by my time in activism in Anne Arundel County. And the model I have in mind when I think about getting to and from our vehicles, between the venue and our vehicles, is what I've seen Anne Arundel connecting together, known as ACT, do for their major actions where they have an entire parking crew. And if you drive in the main road, which is the way you're going to come in, there will be signs and people along the way that say, turn here, turn here, turn here. They will be connected by walkie-talkies in this case because of the distance that let you know when one lot's full and when you need to go to the other, with special exceptions for those who need handicap parking. And there are handicap parking spots already very near the venue, but whether there are enough, I don't know. So we may want to set an additional set aside. And then the same stretch of people over the geography of the area would be able to point people from their cars back to or toward the amphitheater venue and remind them as they pass which parking lot they're in. Maybe even handle them a colored tag of paper so that they could be guided by some cue readily back to the parking lot they're parked in. This takes coordination. It takes some degree of infrastructure, and it is very, very effective. It also creates a sense of excellence of planning and commitment from the moment you drive onto the property. So I want to offer those things as possibilities. There are parking lots throughout along the Downs Park area. Some of them may be a bit of a walk. They're going to be on paved paths or on the street itself. So we have the space. I do not foresee the need for shuttles. Oh, by the way, if I remember correctly, commissioners, we can seat over 1,200 people in the amphitheater, and I believe it can rise to closer to 2,000. It's a grassed area that slopes down to the amphitheater itself. So there's plenty of room there. Okay, security. In this case, I'm informed by the time I've spent with street rallies, usually in downtown Annapolis, but not always. Some of them have actually been marches with themes around, well, Black Lives Matter marches in the time of George Floyd, for example, even in that very area. And it is quite typical to have police from Anne Arundel County Police Department available to us just in case there is some disruption. In only one case have I known there to be a disruption, and that was a demonstration in front of Anne Arundel County Public Schools when there were debates over masking, and it was a case of people with and without masks ending up in each other's faces. The end result was that one group of people were in the faces and pushing others aside. In that case, the police didn't intervene. There have not been problems of that nature in the marches in the Chesapeake, Pasadena area. Nonetheless, it is routine to have some police presence to calm things and to let people know that, again, this is a very well planned, structured, safe community event. We don't think of this as contentious. This is a unity thing. And we all know that there has been no word as contentious as unity at Chesapeake High School. So your usual little ray of sunshine has those items to share.
I would like to, and let me say something, and I'll get to you, Commissioner Clapsaddle. Normal procedure that I follow is to get in touch with the Anne Arundel County Police Department, let them know that we're having an event, and then turn it over to them for how they will handle it. And I think that's what we probably will do. That should, and I'll talk with HRO Smith about it too, and we'll figure it out. But I think, you know, we wouldn't do, we shouldn't do this without letting them know, as it's similar to what we did when we had the Critical Race Theory Forum. Both the Anne Arundel County Police, but specifically the Annapolis Police Department, were well aware that the event was going on and had advance notice. So that's, I think that would cover it. Commissioner Claps.
Hi. A couple of other items. Conceptually, in terms of the program, I think it's very important for us to bring the students involved somehow. And I would like for us to think about how to do that, to be a part of the program. I also recall, and that should not be complicated. It could be the student body president. It could be, just we need to welcome the students, because this is really for them. This is for them as well as the community. And the other thing is that I think our expenses for food and our special guests will determine how that all works out. Will determine whether we're going to invite all the high schools or just Chesapeake High School. And that I wasn't clear on.
I think the idea was to work in this region, so the schools that would be made known of the event would be, and I'm sure the school district would let other people know, but specifically the schools would be it's Northeast High School and Chesapeake, because they're in that region, and this is the region we're focusing on. It's not an all county event, as far as I see it, and I mean, that's and we will work with the school district to figure out how that works. Any other items, activities? I guess I just would say, in terms of the parking issue, when we arrived, when my wife and I arrived, the person at the gate tells you where the amphitheater is, and then you drive around and you find the amphitheater. I guess my concern is, and maybe we can involve students, that might be something positive for them to do, but getting a group of people, I guess, Commissioner Daydoni, I'm wondering where the people going to come from to do this direction and of folks at parking lots, because we don't have the staff to do that. Do you have an idea?
Again, in my model, which is what Anne Arundel Connecting Together has done, it comes from volunteers. So we might ask folks we know, we might also ask the school system if they have people they wish to have do that. And as you said, having students participate would be a possibility too. The chief of park operations, Mr. Bill Uffett, seems very well connected and informed. He may have something to offer. And Chairman Peterson, he is quite willing and I guess proactively offered that if we do wish to interact with the police department, he has established relationships with the Eastern Department of Anne Arundel County Police Department, the Eastern District Office.
Okay. Yeah.
So no, I don't have your answer for volunteers. I share that they would be needed.
Okay.
May I suggest that we discuss this with Dr. Gillums? She might be able to get student volunteers that we can train.
Yeah, and I also I'm not sure if our student member is on the call. I know the student member got the information. I'll make an extra added attempt to get a hold of the student member and see if we can get some involvement from our student commissioner in this regard. That would also be helpful.
Who is the new student commissioner?
the new student commissioner is, she goes by Z.
Oh, I know Z is very good.
Yes,
I know
right.
that.
Is it McGovern? I think is, yeah. But in any event, that's who Kraft nominated. So I'll make every attempt to get her more on board because we need her help. We've got a short time.
She's right here, Gene.
Pardon?
She just checked in.
Oh, good.
See?
Hi. Yeah, I've been watching the webinar, but I wasn't a panelist.
Oh, okay. You should know that, and we welcome you and are very happy that you're on the commission as a full voting member, and yeah, you'll be able to become a panelist at every meeting. So since you've been following this, do you have any ideas about student involvement?
Yeah, definitely. I'm part of the SGA at Chesapeake because I'm a student at Chesapeake. And I'm part of the SGA. I'm the vice president. I know the student body president, if that was a route you'd want to go down. We have a lot of like clubs. There's a GSA at our school. And then there's also a club that was started last year called Changemakers of Chesapeake. That was started to kind of talk about issues of bias within our community and like a social justice sort of based club. And the person who started that club, she's also a really great advocate in our school and our community as well. So I think there's a lot of good opportunities to get student involvement if that's what you're interested in.
Yeah, I think that definitely would be helpful. And I guess and other commissioners can chime in, but could you be our we're working with Dr. Gillens, but I'm thinking that it would be good if you could get with the principal and talk with him about involving the students. Well, as you were listening, we had this talk about how to ensure that people know how to get to parking lots and whatnot. So we would need a group of students that could help us with that. You know, go take a left or take a right. There's parking, so forth and so on. However, we do that, and so we would like to have students help us there. There was also a discussion about Commissioner Clapsaddle wondered if we could get, and I know it's early in the year, but if there could be a choir or the band or some participation, musical participation from Chesapeake. And we're going to work with Northeast too, so we could probably, if they want to join in, I would say that it's great. But having that, and also if we could borrow the cheerleaders, that would be great too.
Yeah.
And we talked about banners, and I know every high school has a banner, so we'd like to have the Chesapeake banner there, the Northeast banner there, and any other appropriate club or whatever banners that people feel that they want to display.
Z, we're working on, just so, I'm sorry, Faye, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that Dr. Gillens had said at our work group meeting that she was going to handle those discussions, so that we're not working at cross purposes. If Z wants to reach out directly to her, so that you're not, stepping on each other's toes, so to speak. Because I know that she had indicated that she would take that on to work with the principals and schools and any of the, to navigate that whole dynamic.
Okay.
We're working on a couple of celebrity guests, not confirmed. I'll keep you posted on that because that'll help get the students there. Okay.
I guess, what I'll do is, Z, I will send you Dr. Gillen's email. And so then you can work with her because I think she would welcome to help have somebody locally on the site that's, you know, contacting students, getting them interested, getting them linked up to the event, and getting them interested in coming to the event, I think would be a primary role that you could help us with.
Yeah, totally. That would be awesome. I'd be happy to work with her on that.
All right, so I will send you her email, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Does that sound about right, Faye? Okay. All righty.
Chairman
again,
Peterson, at this
yes.
time, I would like to acknowledge Councilman Abner and for record as being present,
Okay.
and Student Council Goodman as well.
Okay.
I had a question. Maybe I missed this in the previous meeting, but is the tree lighting sort of a holiday tree lighting? What does that mean?
Why don't you go ahead and one of the commissioners want to, Joe.
Mark, Commissioner Apter, it's it's going to be daylight out, so we'll use bright white lights for the tree. It'll be very effective.
But that's not my question. Is it a Christmas holiday tree lighting?
No,
What is it?
it's just a string of lights. If that's what you mean by Christmas lights, yes.
Okay.
What's the purpose? I think he's asking what is the reasoning behind the tree lighting.
It's
Exactly.
a Unity Day program with all the issues that have been going on in that area. We're trying to bring the school and the community together, and this is just symbolic of unity. So it's just a unity tree lighting program.
Okay. Has anybody thought about the fact that it's not that far from the holidays that you'll get people going, you know, is this for Christmas? Is this for Hanukkah? Is this for Kwanzaa? You know, what's this for?
I think the letters that have been drafted to go to the people that we want to invite spells it out pretty clearly. I think that any type of marketing that we do, we just have to make sure that we're clear as to the purpose of this program.
Okay.
Because there could be some questions about that. There could be some.
I'm sure there may well be, and
Mhm.
letters don't communicate well to high school students. It's got to be a little bit broader than that.
Right, I totally agree.
That's all. Thanks.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Just the follow up on that. So the tree, is it like what kind of a tree? Like, because I think it could be construed as like a Christmas tree lighting, in which case it's not a Christmas tree. It's just like a regular
Commissioner
tree.
Karpowitz, it's a huge tree.
Okay.
As you're sitting as an audience member at the pavilion, you have the stage right in front of you, and to the very right of this stage and seating area and standing area, you have this beautiful tree.
Is it an evergreen tree?
It's about 30, it's not an evergreen. It's about 35 feet tall. And then that is a view that you're also going to see the Chesapeake Bay over to the right. It's a gorgeous setting for this.
I'd point out that it is not an evergreen tree. Its shape is not like a cone, as we're used to many of evergreens being. And it will be starting to lose some leaves, but not that many by that time. To my eye, it's a very large ornamental tree. To my eye, it's rather akin to some of the cherry or prunus trees, but I wasn't able to identify it with my paucity of knowledge about the ornamental trees. The lighting will not be for a long period of time. The park itself closes at sunset. And so having it lit at night for over many days makes no sense. Not only is it difficult with respect to electricity, somebody running around with a cord, plugging it in and unplugging it, but nobody's going to be seeing it unless they're coming up the Chesapeake Bay. So it will be lit for one night prior to sunset, hence the white lights for this very specific event.
Any further questions,
Yes,
Commissioner
I do.
Karpowitz or
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
So are we so I figured this is geared around the students, the high school students or students in the region. Are we also inviting the police department or a representative? Are we inviting other different people within the community? And will people understand or get the notation that this is a unity ceremony? And why the October 20th date? Is there something significant around that date?
No, there's nothing significant about October 20.
Okay.
Wanted to do it maybe a little bit earlier, but the way schools work, this was a time that the committee agreed would be the best time to do it. And the letters that are going out to supporters, participants, and to people like I know because he's responded. Commissioner County Councilman Bulkey has already responded and said he will attend. So the bottom line is, it will, as we publicize this, it will get the word out, and the idea was not just to have the schools, but the schools are a focus, but also the larger community.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any further questions, discussion on the event? Commissioner?
One question. Are there, once again, forgive my ignorance, but have there been other similar Unity Day events like this with tree lightings, or is this a first of its kind?
This is a first of its kind, but there have been other Unity Days that have happened at Chesapeake, some successful, some not so successful. And so this is a chance to turn the page and do something together to demonstrate to the community. We're reaching out to the, as One Pasadena, we're reaching out to the business community through the Chamber of Commerce. So we're casting a wide net. And we've already gotten a commitment from the county executive to be there. He will be there. And we're hoping also to get a commitment soon from the superintendent of schools to be there. So that's how we propose that this will shape out. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have momentarily forgotten the day. Is it October 10th?
October 20th.
Okay, well, that is right near one of the school AACPS proclaimed Unity Days. There is, in fact, it is October 20th is the day after the Unity Day school-wide. 19th is the Unity Day. October 20th is the day after. And I'm reading on the annual school calendar that's a 2-hour early dismissal day as well for parent-teacher conferences. I have gone to the 2022.
Yeah, we're committed to the 20th.
Okay, well,
We've already sent out communications. We're committed to the 20th.
I'm not challenging that. I'm pointing out that it is associated with being
right. Okay.
A day after a designated Unity Day.
Unity Day. Okay. That's useful. Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? The committee, and we'll be sending out emails, meets, and we're going to meet every week. And I think, Chanel, when's the next meeting of the committee?
Let me check for you.
Yep.
I believe it's next week, Thursday, the 22nd
Okay.
at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I will ask HRO Smith to send out that invitation to all commissioners so that you know that we're having a meeting. If you cannot attend, that's fine, but that'll get everybody, I think, in the loop on this. So, Commissioner Clapsaddle?
Commissioner Peterson, may I suggest that we appoint to the planning committee Commissioner Goodman? Because I think it would be important for her liaison with the student body.
Fine. I mean, yeah, we're going to send out the invitation to all commissioners. So, you know.
But Commissioner Goodman, we'd like for you to be a part of this committee if you can clear your schedule. They're every Thursday night at 6.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion on this? This is a major event that we're taking on, so we'll need to track it and make sure that as many of us that can be involved in the planning are involved in the planning. We will be sending out some information to the media. So Commissioner After, I know that's your bailiwick, so maybe we might ask you to think about what we want to. I'll share all the letters. I'll ask Chanel, can you make sure that everybody gets copies of the letters? And I know we have to correct the date from Friday to Thursday, but if you could correct that and then send the letters out to everybody so that they see them. And especially, you know, that would be, I think, helpful for Commissioner After. And then we could talk about how we reach out to the media. Mark, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. What, would we use that meeting next Thursday as part of it as a brainstorming session?
Sure.
What are the areas, who are the potential? In other words, Unity Day shouldn't just be a bunch of folks kind of verbalizing platitudes. It might, incorporate people who have had issues in the past with, with folks. Hopefully there's a bit of, controversy overcome that would be part of this Unity Day. You said there are some potential VIP guests. Are you willing to say who they might be at this juncture?
Sure. We have a list of 4. Colton Underwood, who's an NFL player. Chasten Buttigieg, who is the partner of our Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. I don't have the other 2 names here. Gordon, who is a poet.
The NFL.
Jason Reynolds and Carl Nassib.
Yeah, who's a NFL player.
I might suggest that we also reach out to Baltimore TV personalities who would have, as guest speakers, who would also have the potential for promoting it more heavily on their stations.
Okay.
I take Commissioner After's point that that it's not just people who've been affected, and how do we use this Unity Day? Again, I want to point out that what got us into this were the disruptions. I'm looking for a neutral word. The confrontations and I'll borrow the Irish word, the difficulties around Unity Days at Chesapeake High School in the past. We know that the school system, but most especially Chesapeake High School Principal Ure, has a strategy and very specific things being done, tactics, to diffuse the tensions and troubles around Unity Days. And I really strongly recommend we coordinate closely with Principal Ure in this case and with Dr. Gillens to carry their strategies through to this event.
Yes.
And
I
I can look
agree.
at my
I agree.
colleague Z on this because she's been so much closer to it than any of us have.
Yeah, she's been a part of our planning, continues to be. She sat in on, I think, most of the meetings. She's aware of the list of potential speakers. She's aware of all the things that we're doing, and I assume she's communicating that with the principal there. Okay. Any further suggestions, discussions? Okay. Hearing none. I'll move on to our next item. And Chanel, I don't think we'll have much to report on this, but go. Do you have anything from HRO Smith on where the hearing procedures on housing discrimination complaints is now?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Okay. We had a presentation at our last meeting, a very extensive presentation on the status of the hearing complaint procedures. I believe if she has not sent them out, I'll work with Asha. She can send out the drafts, and we're working with the Office of Law so that we can finalize them and have them in place should we have to move forward with a hearing on a housing complaint. So we'll do that. Let's move to our next item. Any questions on that? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to our next item, formation of subcommittees. And there's a bunch of lists of, let me encapsulate where we are with this. We talked about these potential subcommittees at our August 3rd meeting. I sent out an email asking for either suggestions or folks who wanted to be part of a particular subcommittee. Some of you have responded. Others, I guess, are waiting to see where this goes. And what I'd like to do today is to start with the first item on the below the continued discussion, which is a strategic plan for the commission, which would be a development of measurable goals, objectives, and follow-up on commission goals listed in our annual report. This is something that HRO Smith and I talked about. I think we had some commission discussion about this, and it's the idea that we should do two things. One, we should follow up on what we said we were going to do in our annual report and see whether or not we accomplished those things. And two, we should set out what our goals would be to realize this year. And if we got this going, then it could roll over so that we could get a good start on a strategic plan for the coming year. And maybe it's more than a year. Maybe it's a plan that goes forward with some detail for items that would take more than one annual series of actions to complete. So I guess I'd like to open up the floor for some discussion about this idea of a strategic planning subcommittee. Any ideas? Commissioner Clapsaddle?
I'm not certain I have specific ideas, but I think the importance of this will enable us to further pursue our goal of having a budget allocation, which is very important. When we come to events like we're doing, for Unity Day, we basically are having our hands out begging for everything. And we really need to, I think when we have our goals and objectives, then that gives a reason for us to go back to the county executive and ask for a budget.
Okay. And I would remind everybody, in our annual report, we outline the kinds of positions that we need to be a functioning commission. And I had conversation with County Council Member Rodney, who's from the Annapolis area, and she was interested in the kinds of needs that we had. And I specifically said, in order for this commission to function, we need a budget, we need staff, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that would, how we would go about from a strategic planning standpoint, we have to, of course, you work with the administration, and that would be one thing. But what else could we do with the county council members to see if we could at least begin the process of augmenting the commission with functioning staff? So that would be one thing, and there would be other things. Yes, Commissioner Hatcher.
So to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, I think a lot of times that, like even with business, right? It's in order for someone to say, I'll give you a budget, you kind of got to show why you need the budget. So I think we are spot on with starting to come up with some strategic goals, some objectives that we want to accomplish as a commission. One of the things that I know is that there, like for instance, there's a lot of events that take place. Currently, I think the Maryland Fair is occurring for a week from, I think it started the 13th or 14th until, I don't know, the end date. But, things like that, and showing our presence and maybe passing out information of who we are. That is something that, we can start kind of putting on a calendar. I had mentioned at the gala that just took place about a month ago, I think, or a few weeks ago, that, like things like the July 4th, Annapolis have this wonderful parade, and there's a lot of political figures, but there's a lot of community. If we could get things that won't interrupt someone's schedule, a group of us to go and kind of do like outreach and spread the word, we could then kind of add that to resources that we may need, like with printing out pamphlets or cards or anything like that to add to our budget. So it's kind of hard to say we need a budget if we don't have anything to back it.
That's true.
Well, I would like to mention that the only area that we have authority in is housing discrimination. And we do not seem to have anybody bring to us potential potential cases of housing discrimination. We are not known in this community as an entity that you bring that before.
Which is why we need to educate. We need to promote ourselves.
Well, but specifically in that area. In other words, right now, that's the only place we have clout. And that's where we need to do the majority of the education. We need to go into people in public housing, people in low income areas, et cetera, et cetera. We need, you know, churches, we need to get the word out that we have potential clout, we can help you in housing, with housing issues, and not just a general, you know, we care about human rights, but, you know, where we have authority.
I think HRO Smith, there is a whatchamacallit, a group within the county that's going to start to do, and I don't know how it's funded or whatnot, but it's and we would work with them to set up you call them investigative
Team.
forays where you go in and you apply for housing and whatnot, and you see how that works and whether or not there's discrimination, and that's done in other areas. But we could have staff that would be dedicated to that, and so those are the kinds of things that if we're talking about. And again, I would advise everybody to take a look at the annual report, because there are positions, and I think that kind of outreach in terms of housing is one position that we talked about. I know the two positions that come to mind to me are executive director and someone, a support staff, which is kind of the model that the Ethics Commission has. And that would be a start. So I'm taking it that there is some.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, in terms of, yeah, I think those are all points well taken on the housing side of things. I think that, you know, there needs to be more outreach so people know about the commission's capacity. But I also think that before that happens, there needs to be the infrastructure set up in order to take those complaints. Right. And so I think that's why, you know, a strategic plan is important, and or maybe getting together a housing committee that can really help, you know, talk through some of those things. And it sounds like the HCO Smith has done a lot of thought, and I know she's going to be circulating that around. And you were mentioning the group, the organization is actually, it was called the Fair Housing Action Center. It's a project of the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition. In my organization, ACDS has a contract with them. And what we do is we provide grant funding to them. It's county grant funds to do some of that education and outreach as well as enforcement. But I think the process on the county side needs to kind of be fleshed out a little bit more. But I definitely think that there's a need for additional staff in order to support that and getting that infrastructure in place before we go out and do a ton of education and outreach.
Point well taken. Seems to me like we are in agreement that we want to establish this strategic planning subcommittee. What I'm going to ask folks to do is those that are interested, please send me an email so we can see the level of interest. And then if you're particularly interested in heading up the subcommittee, that would also be helpful. And we will then come back to the commission and say we've established a subcommittee. And that subcommittee then, we had talked earlier, and I think Commissioner Karpowicz, you had mentioned that maybe if we establish these subcommittees, we wouldn't have these regular meetings every month, because maybe it would make more sense to dedicate that to an alternate month. Every other month, have the subcommittees meet and do the work that they're involved in and committed to doing. So that I think is Commissioner Karpowicz.
Thanks. Yeah, along those lines, I'm wondering, would these subcommittees be open to outside membership? So we could bring in some outside expertise. For example, I have, someone on my staff who is much more of an expert with the law than I am, and they could, provide some real insight to the committee. It's a little bit different because I'm in this role by virtue of my position and my job. So I do have staff I could say, assigned to come and help work on the committee, but I was just curious kind of what the parameters were.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, I think that would help speed our ability to get some of these things done. So I'm not opposed to that. Commissioner Daydoni?
Thank you. My current experience and perception is informed by my work with a nonprofit entity, which is deeply involved in strategic planning right now and finding it a necessity for survival. So when I think of in strategy, I'm thinking that we're looking at a plan that is not just reactive, because if we read where we are codified in the charter, we are reactive to when people bring issues to us. Strategic planning, to me, implies that we have a vision, and it's not just a 6-month vision or a 1-year vision. It's a 2-year, 5-year, 20-year vision for Anne Arundel County. And what we do is to help move towards that vision. That's a new way of approaching what this commission would be doing. I offer that knowing I'm coming from a limited perspective and one that's infused with a lot of urgency, but it's what I have learned and what moves organizations forward. I observe there are housing issues, inequities, discrimination, and housing abuse in rental housing in Anne Arundel County. And nobody's coming to us for that. They're going through their own entities. That means we're not seen as the go-to agency. I observe that housing is unaffordable in Anne Arundel County and totally unaffordable in Annapolis City. This is having tremendous impact on the social economic life and opportunities of everyone who lives and works in this county. I would love to see us become much more strategic.
Thank you. So it looks like we're going to have a strategic planning committee. Again, send me your request to join the committee if anybody is so interested and would be available to chair it. That would be great. And we will establish that committee. We moving and looking at the different items listed in the commission. We had a discussion the last time, and there was some difference about community education and education. And it seems to me that the way that broke down was that we would have 2 subcommittees. One that looks at community education specifically focused on the public school system, and the other one that would be a larger group interested in community education that would evidence itself in activities like setting up more of those forums, like the critical race theory forum. So I'd like to see, and I will send out an email and see if there's interest in. I know there was a lot of interest. I know Commissioner Dadoni and a couple other commissioners were very interested in the education committee, community education committee that would focus on issues related to public school system. But then there were others, and I believe Toshin was one who sent out and said he was interested in community education. And I assume that meant in the larger sense, like maybe extending our reach by developing more forums. And I would say that I have been approached by a member of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, Chuck Hurley, and we met about this to work with us to look at other forums that might be done. So there is some community interest in other forums, and I think that the survey that we did that HRO Smith shared with us at our last meeting on August 3rd evidence that there is some community interest in more forums like the critical race theory forum on issues that are working in our community, bubbling up, that tend to develop different perspectives, sometimes clashing, and just getting more information out in a general sense about what the underlying facts are about a particular issue helps, I think, to inform the community and bring people closer together. At least that was our intent with the critical race theory forum. So if everybody's okay with that, that's what I would again, I'll send out the email and it'll ask for volunteers for that. We also talked about conflict resolution, responding to community crises. That maybe can be addressed through the community education activities. And I think that kind of sums up where we are on that. Is there any further discussion, ideas about the subcommittees? What I'd like to do is at our next meeting, which we will have immediately after the Unity Day ceremony, since it's a Thursday, so we will have an in-person meeting at a designation that will get out to everybody. It'll either be a public library in that area or some other public venue that we can use. But in any event, that'll be a long day on the 20th. So on that, at our October meeting, the idea would be to finalize the subcommittees. And what I'm hoping for is that we don't have, and we won't have, because if we only have 2 people that sign up for a subcommittee, my idea is, well, maybe that's not going to work. I think you need to at least have 3 or 4, 3 or 4 people to make these committee meetings, subcommittees work, and to have them generate something that we can, as a whole commission, respond to. So that's what I will do in the next day or 2 in terms of getting information out to you. Any suggestions about anything that you'd like me to do beyond that or modify it?
Chairman Peterson, Mountain Road Library is within 10 minutes driving time, I believe, of um, the Unity Day venue. I do not know if it has public meeting rooms. I know it is currently scheduled to be open until 9 at night. Would someone other than me, uh, other than I, be willing to contact them and see if we can reserve a room? Sometimes getting, if they have that space, sometimes reserving that in advance is important.
No, I agree, and, and we plan to do that. I was going to wait till HRO Smith got back and discussed this, but certainly that would be a prime location.
I will contact them.
Pardon?
I will contact the library.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Commissioner Gass.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to Chanel. Do you have anything that HRO Smith left you for us?
Unfortunately, I do not have anything. Thank you for asking.
Okay. It may be my fault. I checked my email. She was going to send out an email, but I know she's busy with the and she also, I think, was going to try to get back for the meeting. So I will ask Asha to send us out a written report, and I'll get it out to all of the commissioners as soon as I can. Okay. Commissioner Hatchers, do you have a report from the Annapolis Human Relations Commission? Commissioner Hatcher?
I'm speaking on mute. My apologies.
Oh, that's okay.
The only thing I was going to mention was the meeting you had with Councilman Harley.
Yes.
About setting up an outreach committee,
right,
or a small group for the outreach, in which you just got finished speaking on. That was the only thing I was going to add to this conversation.
But there still is interest in that.
Yes.
Okay. Would you be interested in working with Mr. Hurley, and then we can see if we can get a couple other people, or maybe what we do is, why don't you and Mr. Hurley meet and come up with some ideas, and then we can discuss them as a commission and see what happens.
I would definitely be interested. But I also want to kind of open up the floor to maybe some of the council that is a little quiet on our side, to get people, to kind of get more council men and women involved to some of the things we want to do, because in order for us to really grow and touch the community the way that we're expected, we really need more participation. And I think it's more than just meeting our monthly meetings. So I would definitely be interested in doing so, but I also want to open up the floor to any councilman or woman that will also be interested as well.
Commissioners, you've heard Commissioner Hatcher. If there's anybody that has interest in working with her and Annapolis Human Relations Commissioner Hurley on outreach efforts, please get in touch with Commissioner Hatcher. You have her email, and please indicate that. And as a matter of fact, right now, is there anybody that's interested in joining with Mr. Hurley and Commissioner Hatcher right now? You can raise your hand. You could say yes.
Everyone who knows me is going to tell me, don't you dare put your hand up, and I'm putting my hand up.
Okay.
This is so important. We are not serving the community the way we could serve the communities. There's not much bandwidth left, but I can't not say yes.
Okay.
I'm yours, Commissioner Hatcher. Use me as you
Fantastic.
will.
Thank you, Commissioner Dadoni.
I greatly appreciate it. I agree. But Commissioner Dodoni is so stretched thin. I think the majority of our projects or things that we've worked, she has always been the forerunner. So thank you for continuing to do that.
All right.
Anybody else, we are also welcoming.
And please note, it is consistent with work I'm already doing through Hispanic community outreach and NAACP outreach.
Great. Great. And again, all other commissioners have Commissioner Hatcher's email. What I'd like to do is, we don't have any old business. Under new business, I'd like to ask for your I'd like to ask the commission to allow me to, at this point, and I should have done this earlier, amend the agenda for an item. Commissioner Hatcher reminded me that the Martin Luther King Memorial Breakfast Committee, which I chair, has an annual award that we are involved in designating someone from the county. It's the Chase Humanitarian Award. And I'll let Commissioner Clapsaddle explain it, and then maybe we can dispose of this item tonight.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. We were a little late to the table last year, and HRO Smith asked us to address this. So what I would ask the commissioners to do is to submit to Chair Peterson nominations for the Chase Humanitarian Award. This award is given to an individual at a breakfast in January, and it should be a person who has made a tremendous contribution to human relations and human issues in Anne Arundel County. I have two nominees that I would like to place before the commission. One is Carl Snowden, who I will let Commissioner Dodoni discuss a little bit, but he's very well known. And the second one is Abby Ellicott, who handles the LGBTQ plus coalition for students in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. She's done a tremendous job in coalescing the community behind establishing rights and procedures and trainings within the school district.
Do you want me to start talking about Carl? Mr. Carl?
I think we should delay that until the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I agree. And so at the next meeting, we will hear nominations. If any other commissioners have people that they feel would be excellent to be nominated for this award, please send those names forward to you want them to go to me, Joe, or are they going to you?
I think they should go to you, Chair.
Okay. All right. So send them to me.
I'd like to, just kind of your comments back and forth regarding Carl and others reminded me I'm involved with the MLK committee, which puts on the Fannie Lou Hamer Awards, which this year will be October 2nd, just a few weeks from now. Sunday, October 2nd at Maryland Hall, where in this year, 25 women of various and sundry backgrounds will be honored for their efforts in civil rights and human rights. And there will be a play focused on the life of Fannie Lou Hamer and her contributions as part of that. It's from 4 to 6. It's $50 for tickets, which includes dinner. And you can go to the MLK committee website to buy the tickets.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Apter. Any further announcements? I guess I missed that. Okay, hearing none. I would like to say that the next monthly meeting of the Human Relations Commission will be October 20th. And I think I set it for 7:30, which won't give us a whole lot of time. We'll have 10 minutes to get over to the venue, if that's the venue that we select. And then we'll have to be out by 9. So I'll make sure that we have an abbreviated agenda that we can go through with the most important topics, of course, there for your review and adoption, if that's the case.
I'm sorry, what date did you say that was?
The next monthly meeting is Thursday, October 20th, the same day as the Unity Tree.
Oh.
So we'll have an in-person meeting. Commissioner Gaskin has said that she would contact the library there, and we'll go directly from the Unity ceremony, Unity ceremony to our meeting.
I just want to make one, reference here that are we doing a hybrid as well as an in-person meeting for this?
I doubt if we'll be able to do the hybrid.
Why is that? We do have technical staff at our beck and call, right?
No, they're not at our beck and call. And the bottom line is, I'll check with the Arundel TV, but if we do it, it would be like the.
It would be like a Zoom.
No, it won't be like a Zoom. What it will be is because we found out when we tried to do that at the Bush Library that the library didn't have the technical ability to do that. So we ended up having Arundel TV come out and taping it, and then it was put on as a video version. So I'm assuming, I will check with HRO Smith, but I assume that is how it will happen.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to be a naysayer, but many of the libraries are booked way ahead of time, and we can't assume that we can get into that library at that time.
I understand that, but we'll have other venues that we'll look at.
Okay.
We'll have a place and we'll have a meeting.
McDonald's.
All right. Again, we're having 2 events. October 20th, the Unity Day celebration, which begins at 4 and will end around between 5:30 and 6. And then we will adjourn to a location close to Downs Park in Pasadena and have our regularly scheduled human relations meeting. Any of the community that would like to attend this meeting should go to the Human Relations Commission section on the county website for meeting information. And for more information pursuant to the Maryland Open Meetings Act. At this point in time, I'd like to thank all the commissioners for being here tonight, and thank anyone who tuned in to our meeting. It's important that we outreach and touch folks in the community. That's why we do these hybrid meetings. So I want to say thank you, and would then ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Commissioner
I
Day,
second.
Second. And that was seconded by Commissioner Clapsack. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Great. And again, want to thank our new student member for being here, and look forward to your active participation in the commission. Thanks, everyone, and good night.